for all.
Mr. Berger.
Here.
Ms. Capabianco.
Here.
Mr. Corey.
Here.
Mr. Prentice.
Here.
Mr. Uccelito.
Here.
Ms. Papiano.
Here.
Ms. Mona here. Mr. Kisco.
Still here.
Ms. Richardson here. Ms. Toder.
Here.
Mayor Carbone. Mr. Barlow. Ms. Boisbear. Here. Ms. Ferguson here. Ms. Klemazewski.
Here.
Ms. Lebomsky. Here. Ms. Schulte.
Here. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda. So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sue and John.
Full community session, public participation. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed on the agenda or other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments must state their name and address at the beginning of their comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members, parents, students, or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 10 minutes overall. Jason Lafreniere.
Been a while since I've done this.
Yeah. Been a long time.
Good evening, Jason Lafreniere, Torrington Middle School special education teacher, living in Granby, Connecticut. Again, it's great to be in person with all of you, but I have to admit that it is nice to sit on my couch and watch you from the comfort of my home. I just want to say it again, I just want to teach. Please help me do that. I'd like to share with you some facts and data and insights as we move forward with running our district and as we get ready to hear the superintendent's proposed budget for the next school year, and also respond to some of the comments earlier this evening. It is disheartening to see the mass exodus of people after the Yonder decision was issued and after you made a decision on masks as we prepare to hear the superintendent's upcoming spending plan. Spending of funds was a highly referenced topic at the meetings earlier this evening, and nobody's here to hear how we're going to spend our funds. It was stated by a Board of Education member earlier tonight that students don't get paid. I wholeheartedly and fundamentally disagree. On almost a daily basis, I tell my students that your education is your paycheck. What you earn now will help you to potentially get a greater paycheck later. The current 8th grade has not had a normal uninterrupted school year since 5th grade. This has had a huge impact on student social and academic performance. Yes, this was caused by COVID, but COVID cannot continue to be the go-to excuse why things aren't the way they should be. As has been stated earlier this evening, all current policies and procedures are not being implemented and followed system-wide with fidelity by students, family, staff, and administrators. It is important that those who don't do so be held accountable for their actions or lack thereof. I ask that all future policies and procedures be all-encompassing, that they are not subject to interpretation, and that all are held accountable to them. I can make an assumption that part of why there isn't follow-up with those who don't adhere to professional responsibilities can be based on the following. 50% of beginning teachers leave by year 5. In mid-career teachers who are at the 18 to 23 year level are leaving the teaching profession at an alarming rate. A recent data from LinkedIn shows that there's a 66% increase of teachers leaving the profession now than they were prior to COVID. Based on a 2018 national study, Connecticut had 45% fewer students entering teacher prep programs. Some states were as high as 65%. Only 4 states had no loss. A survey by the American Association of Colleges for Teacher Education found that 19% of undergraduate level and 11% of graduate level teaching programs saw a significant drop in enrollment this year. Connecticut Brief, a website that posts all available positions in Connecticut schools, had 861 openings in Connecticut as of today. 35 were posted today, 24 yesterday. And those are not in our usual shortage areas. They're in all areas of education. Torrington has 3 posted positions currently. The human resources update tonight in tonight's packet, if I'm reading it correctly, shows 18.8 open positions. I also know that many of you are interested in exit interviews to find out why an employee has left the district. Please put more emphasis on the employees who are still here. Consider starting stay interviews. This is the opposite of an exit interview. Instead of asking why an employee is quitting, a stay interview focuses on what motivates the employee to stick around. What could be better about their work experience and how they envision the next stage of their career within the organization. With that, I invite any of you at any time to come visit me in my classroom to see what happens in the course of my day. Please email me directly and I will schedule a time for you to come in and see what is happening in my classroom. I know there are others that are willing to invite you to their classrooms as well. Keep up the good fight, and please, I just want to teach. Please help me. Thank you.
Thank you. Information sharing, superintendent's report, office.
Yeah, I will be super brief, and it kind of piggybacks on what Jason was saying. Given February and Valentine's Day and the Olympics, it always inspires me in so many different ways, but to really champion our staff who stay, I wanted to, and I did, send out a message to all of our staff, thanking them so much for their dedication, just like those Olympians who give their life to their craft, their profession, their passion. I do believe that education is a commitment because it is a passion. You believe in the future through our students and what you do every day. So I did send that out to them. I truly believe that we are very, very fortunate in our staff who stay and commit to our students, our families, and our community. So that's all I have to say.
Officer, learning update.
Yes, hi, everybody. I'm going to keep this super brief, given tonight, and also the timing. Yesterday, as you know, there was no school for students, but our staff showed up and rolled up their sleeves, said in every building in the district, they were so excited to be really diving into more curriculum work. So we had curriculum development and enhancement happening, grades 4 through 12, and then we had some really exciting work happening K-3 with the teachers of our youngest learners who are diving deep into learning more about the science of reading and how to shift. I hesitate to call it back to basics, but that's kind of really what it is. So we call it what it is and looking at that, and we're starting to even see some preliminary benefit from the work that's been happening along those lines. So we're excited about that. Looking forward to continuing that work at the end of March. Thank you to the board for allowing us to have an additional day to work on that. We had asked for, at Mr. Kisco's suggestion, we built in time yesterday for our staff to take the survey, to give us some feedback on the day, but because it just happened at the end of yesterday, we really haven't had time to disaggregate all of that. So we'll be sharing their feedback at an upcoming meeting with you all. So all good stuff happening.
Any questions?
Right.
Special education update, Laura.
Hi, guys. So I will also keep this brief. It's the theme of the evening. So you guys have my report in front of you. Our numbers are pretty much status quo as we have been for over a year, I guess you can say. The one thing that continues to be kind of surprising is, we continue to have the magnet numbers drop. So I'm kind of excited about that because, I know we have brought back 9 students that had IEPs that were going to magnets that came back to us because the parents felt that their needs were not being met at the magnet. So that's been exciting. Our prevalence, we've kept us where we needed to be. We are below the prevalence in Connecticut has actually gone up and we've gone down. So that's an even better thing because the prevalence in Connecticut is now 16.3. So we're below that. Also, our outplacement rate continues to be below the state average. The move in and move out you'll see that it's about status quo, just a few more students moving in with IEPs than moving out. As I already mentioned, we had 9 children return from magnets with IEPs, and we have had 16 students exited from special ed, which is always a celebration. I just wanted to give you a real quick update on TAG. We finally kind of have it together. So the gifted confirmation letters have gone out to the 2, 4, 5 school students that qualified, and services are beginning at Forbes and Southwest. Those will be occurring on a weekly basis, and that's being determined how that's going to work with the principals of the building. The 3rd and 4th graders will be tested in the spring. I know Andrew's already on top of that to identify additional students for the 22-23 school year. I just wanted to give you kind of an idea of how gifted instruction works. And basically, you know, we talk a lot about differentiation, and it's based on Ronzulli's school-wide enrichment model. And basically, you are looking at each unique interest of students that meet that qualification, and you're building things around how they like to learn. So it may be things like a project, it may be some kind of a technology-based presentation, you know, all kinds of contests. So there are different ways that the people that are working with the gifted children will be setting up their instruction. And we are also looking to purchase some additional curriculum and materials for potential purchase. There's not a lot out there. There really is, there's a lot of ideas of how to differentiate, you know, your curriculum to make it more higher order for your gifted children. So I'm really trying to find some really engaging activities that will help our library media people work with the gifted children. So that's where we are with that. And we'll just continue to plug along, and I'll let you know how that's going moving forward. And that's it.
I have a question. I know we've talked about it before, and I don't have my notes in front of me from last year, but what's the current process or protocol for getting a scheduled PPT from a parent's perspective?
Yeah. So what happens is a parent just puts a request in to the school. And if a parent requests a PPT, then we call the parent, and we really are required to hold a PPT. And what that means is you hold a meeting with a certain number of required people that are governed by law who needs to be there. And you discuss what is referred to as the referral. Because if you're asking for a PPT, it's because you feel your child needs to be referred to special education. At that point, the team talks about where you are, you know, at this point in the process, where the child is, how he's doing in school, what he has in place to assist him, individualized as far as like MTSS. And then it's determined whether or not at that point a special education evaluation would be done. So just, you know, going to a PPT does not ensure that you're going to be evaluated for special education, but it is required to hold the meeting and to at least discuss it.
Once it's requested, it's required that you hold the meeting, right?
Yeah, we have, within about 10 days, you've tried to schedule the meeting. The law requires us to do it as quickly as possible, and, you know, at least discuss their concerns at that point.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Laura.
Sure.
Oh, Nikki, go ahead,
Yeah.
sorry.
I just have 2 requests, I guess, for future meetings, not now. But one is around, what are we attributing some of the success, you know, with our sped percentage down? I think that's gonna help us as we kind of move through budget season to really understand what you're attributing the success to, so you don't have to answer that now. And then the second one was around TAG program. So what's the next step for TAG, right? So if for the kids that are in 5th grade.
Yeah, so I think that that's going to be something that we all have to talk about, and where you want to go with this. All that the law requires is that we identify students who may be gifted. There's no requirement on any Board of Ed to provide gifted services. So it was exciting that, you felt that this was a priority and that we were able to pilot what we're doing with the 4-5 right now. And, it's a small group of students because the criteria is stringent, but it's a great opportunity. And hopefully we'll have more kids that come up in the 3-4. And then the next step, I think, would be to decide if you want to take it to the middle school level, in which case we would do it very similarly, where we would give the COGAP again at the end of the school year to determine who would be in, how those services are going to be delivered, what they're going to look like. There's really no guidance because it could be, like there are some districts who have a full-time gifted teacher, and other ones do a period once a week. So there's really no, set rule of how we do it. I think any extra differentiation we can give to any child is great. So that's why I kind of jumped on this once we talked about identifying. And then once you guys agreed to have this pilot, it's like, great, let's start it. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully within the next couple of months, we'll have some nice things to share that the kids are doing in the gifted program.
Could we, at a future meeting, get some more concrete information about what the criteria is that we're using for CAG?
Yeah, I already gave you that.
Yeah.
You got that a while ago when we first started the process. And so it's a combination of an IQ test, which could be individual or a group. Originally, we started with individual. Yeah.
I'll have Marissa send it. Send
Okay.
what you did the last time about it.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's been a long time.
There's been some new legislation regarding this too, so that's part of why I was curious to see what we're doing and whether or not that's impacted it.
Has there been any change, Laura, to legislation? That
No,
would-
I've been on top of everything. And we are where we need to be. It's each district. The criteria is developed by the district, not by the state or, federal government. So it doesn't look the same in every town. So when we first put it together, central office and I sat down and talked about what might be appropriate criteria to consider. And then I presented it to you guys back at that point.
Any other questions? Anyone? All right, HR update, first time.
I know. And thank you, Jason, for prefacing with a lot of data. So thank you, I really appreciate that. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, but I know this is the first time you guys are seeing this. So any feedback on anything else that you want me to add or shift, please let me know. So what you have in the packet is I've given you what our current vacancies through February are through last week. And then on the right side of the packet, you have like vacancies from the previous month. So as you get the next report each month, you'll see the previous data and the new data. And then the same for this, and the vacancies are divided up between certified and classified. So you can see what our certified teaching roles are and any administrative roles if we had any, and then our classified roles, which is our non-certified groups. And then below that, I gave you substitute fill rates because I think that's certainly been something that's been of interest to everyone. And so you have our end of month January substitute fill rate, and then I gave you on the right side the year-to-date substitute fill rate, so you can see where we've been at for the whole year, so you can see what kind of progression there is. And then the same thing with absences. I gave you the January absences, what the percentage of our staff that are absent, teachers and paras, and then our year-to-date absences. And then below, I just wanted to highlight some other initiatives that we're working on. So specifically recruitment, we're working closely with Kelly Services on recruiting additional substitutes. We have a referral rocks program that they've implemented that I've sent out, which is our employees can get a referral bonus for referring substitutes to Kelly Services. They've currently hired 4 people. There are people in the queue. They have about 9 people that are in the onboarding process right now. And then we do bi-weekly check-ins with Kelly Services to talk about strategies, talk about our data and what we can do to work together. We've signed up for 8 job fairs so far. CCSU, UConn, Southern Connecticut State University, the West Alliance, Diversity in Education, Education Week. Plus, we are signed up for several virtual HBCU career fairs. HBCU are historically Black colleges and universities. So we're connected with them through Handshake, and we attend those career fairs virtually. And then we still continue to do our university partnership with student teachers and interns. We've also have a really strong wellness program that we've tried to implement for our employees, particularly during this time of COVID. We know that, the mental health and well-being of our students and our staff is really important, so we've tried to maintain that. So in addition to the employee assistance program, which we highlight, we've offered yoga classes in district, which have been supplied by one of our staff members who provides those 6-week yoga classes. Staff can sign up free of charge. And then we're doing that again in the spring, and that's going to be outdoor in the spring. And then we have virtual mindfulness that we've offered for our staff, and that actually is tomorrow. So we have about 30 people signed up for that. And then we are now going to be in year 5 of our 8-week walking challenge, which is always really exciting. Everybody loves that. So that's coming up in April. So we'll be doing that. And then we are looking also at a stress management seminar that we can do for our staff. So those are all things that we're offering to support the health and well-being of our staff. Other things that we're working on, we are finalizing our implementation of electronic onboarding with Frontline so that our new candidates and our new employees can no longer have to worry about all the paper that they have to do. They're going to be able to complete all of their onboarding forms online, submit them through us electronically, and then we can send them right to the personnel files. And then absence management, we are trying to streamline and make more succinct our FMLA process. We've obviously had a lot of employees that have used FMLA this year over the last few years with COVID. So we're really trying to make the process a little bit more streamlined for everybody to go through that and make sure that we have our tracking mechanisms in place. And then we are collaborating with finance on the implementation of the new finance system. And then just as a point of information with the data, I did give you this month our historical absence and substitute data for the last few years, just so you can see the trends. You can see pre-COVID, we were on a really good path. We were doing well with absences and substitutes. We had almost gotten to 80% with the teachers, and then, COVID came and things changed a little bit. So I am absolutely optimistic that we're going to get back up there again. And so that's what I have for the report. I do have another surprise at the end of my report, but I guess I'll turn it over for questions before I do that.
Anyone have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for all the information. Sorry.
Sue.
On the absence management process.
Yep.
And I meant to bring this up in policy next week, but the Paid Family Leave Act, is that being incorporated into that?
So the Connecticut is not applicable to municipalities. So
Oh,
you're
okay,
talking
so we
about
don't
for
need to worry
Connecticut,
about
so
that.
we don't have to worry about that. So we're not
Perfect.
participating in that.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Questions?
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, so
This is just her surprise.
So this is my surprise at the end.
Yeah.
So one of the other initiatives that we've been working on, kind of in collaboration with the Equity Committee, is that we have a recruitment video that we've done. And then so it was one of the subcommittees of the Equity Committee. And we're really proud of it. I'm really appreciative to everyone who contributed, which was a lot of people. And Cooper's going to share it with you right now.
Our community is rich in culture, history, and diversity, including our teachers, students, families, and staff. At Torrington Public Schools, we believe the uniqueness of each individual contributes to the success of all of us. We know through experience that the exchange of different ideas, perspectives, and backgrounds creates a safe and empowering environment where each of us are valued members of our great team. We all work together to foster a willingness to understand and appreciate others, while promoting cultural awareness, creating diverse experiences, and building a strong community. It is not about fitting the mold. It is about breaking out of the mold. Our team embraces what makes each of us unique and provides the opportunity for each of us to grow, just as we help our students grow. Diverse individuals, one team, together for our students.
I am. It gave me goosebumps the first time I saw it. I'm telling you, Takita will tell you, I watch it in my office like every day. So,
She does.
I really do. I'm not even lying. So, but, we have, of the job fairs that we're signed up for, 3 of them are in person. So we're excited. We're gonna, bring the laptop to the job fair with us. We're gonna have it play in there. The virtual job fairs, we're able to kind of set up a booth and be able to share that video. We had the one that was right after the last meeting, and Takina asked several people, did you watch the video? And they did. So, I'm really excited about where it's going to take us. So, thank you.
Any questions? I did have one, because I know we talked about this a couple of times with the exit interviews. Is that something that we can receive as part of this update next month? Would that be an appropriate time?
So I'm working on the exit interview stuff for school improvement. Where we're really challenged right now is that, part of those exit interviews are that we tell them that they're confidential. And, many of the comments are very specific, and it's really hard to kind of pull it together in a way that we can share at a public meeting without violating HIPAA or, confidentiality or any of those things that are really important to them when they share information. So I want to make sure that we don't lose the integrity of the valuable information that we get, because if we're going to present it at a public board meeting, people might not be as forthcoming in those exit interviews. So we're trying really hard to pull that information together for you in a way that doesn't violate that,
Yeah,
that gives you some of the information that you're looking for.
that's a good one. Thank you.
Gary.
Just to say, I'm impressed that video together with all the diverse opinions on the committee and not have it get any sort of agenda, which was, it was great. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, superintendent's proposed 22-23 budget.
I'm so glad that Kim got to show that first. Because Kim is one of those passionate educators, right, that I was talking about before, and it does move her to tears because she shares so much. So what to me in that video has been so striking, it's all about our students, and just to have those 2 minutes to look and to get back to, before we start budget and numbers, it's really about the kids. So I appreciate Jessica Richardson, who brought that up and asked if we could see the video and bring that to the board. So I really do appreciate that. So all of you have a budget book. I just want to walk through it super fast before, it's almost like it's showing a different Zoom.
That's good now.
Thank you, Cooper. So yeah, hang on just 1 second. Don't go forward, don't touch anything until I go through the budget book with you. So if you want to just look for 2 seconds, because I'm going to have you actually pull out my PowerPoint in just a second. But the budget book starts with just my letter, that's a summary of what is in the budget, just to give you an encapsulated form. And then the board, which is all of you, and the PowerPoint presentation, which I'm going to review in just a second. The next part that's under the budget tab in Lisa Soliani Croce's beautiful handwriting, certainly not mine, is the first 6 pages, which breaks down the budget a little bit more into different categories. And it shows you the budget from 2022, and then it compares it to 2023, which is the year that we're in, and then the changes. So you'll see the percentage of the changes. The next portion actually shows you the summary by account, the different areas. That's the one that starts with salaries, benefits. You're going to be so sick of this budget book, you'll get it down. This is just remembering the overview, because you get it every year. Okay, or for some of you, this is new, so if you want me to take more time, I certainly can sit with anybody who wants more time. And then the budget proposal summary, and that gives you a look back from 2019 all the way to 2023. So it shows you what we've expended over the years, okay? And then you get the detail of the budget summary by department, so that breaks it down by our schools. All 6 schools, student services, maintenance, district-wide athletics, has that bright yellow at the top. And then Lynn did a nice job pulling together all of the different departments, and I appreciate all the different departments and schools working together on narratives to give you their mission statements, so that you can see what the focus areas are and what the actual individual school budgets are. Now, during the month of March, the principals will review these individual budgets and talk to their parents about the longitudinal data that goes from 2019 to 2023 and what the changes are, and just discusses what their priorities are. So they'll be having their parent meetings during the month of March. Then we go into the budget codes for anybody who's new to the budget. It's helpful to have those codes and to look at those codes on a regular basis. And then you actually go into the 58 pages of the budget and all the different sections. Yes, I know, I agree. It's a lot of information. And then we have capital plan, which you've already seen as a board. This is the one that was sent to the city. Okay, and that has not only the capital plan for facilities, it also has it for technology. And then the revenue that we receive, we've received all the way back to 2017-18. Some years, those grants would have gone away, or they phased out, or they don't exist anymore. Just like at some point, ESSER, ARPA, all those things will phase out. So you see some that still exist, some that will be new to us this year, and the grant descriptions. Okay. And then we've updated the FAQs with the new numbers that we have. Laura's new SPED numbers are included in here. I know our per pupil student data, Kim updated her data as well in terms of substitute pay rates and things like that. And so I'm going to shift into my PowerPoint if everybody's good. Yeah, I'm going to my presentation. Yeah, no worries. Yep. So Fiona just pointed out some things that are in most of the things that are in my letter are in the PowerPoint. So I'm going to clarify some of the things that you may have questions about. So we look at the presentation, and now I've lost Cooper, but we're going to just go through. We're just gonna go ahead. So you know who you are. That's the word of it. Yay. No, I can if you just pass it on.
Oh, yeah, I apologize.
That's okay. I was gonna move closer than I thought.
Oh.
But it's
Yeah,
over.
just
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you guys know who you are. Then we're gonna go into the vision and the mission. And just a reminder, because that's what drives us, hopefully in terms of where we're going. So the vision, Torrington Public Schools will ensure every student is able to graduate with the skills and attributes that empower them to be college or career, to enter the college or career path that they're choosing. And then just our mission to really make sure that our instruction is relevant, rigorous, personalized to students' needs, so that students can become productive citizens and critical thinkers, capable of adapting and thriving in a dynamic global environment. And every year we continue to review that. This summer we will go through a big strategic plan review. But this is definitely what's guiding us and driving this budget that I'm presenting to. So the budget process, I know you've heard me say this before, but it's a lengthy one. It starts in November. In fact, it feels like it never ends, right? Because we go all the way till June with the city and going back and forth. So the principals are really good about meeting with their leadership teams and talking with them and formulating a budget, and then coming and meeting with us at central office and having those discussions with all of central office leadership. And then we have check-ins and we go back and forth, and we really look at the budget through the lens of enrollment and master schedule and student needs, targeted instruction. COVID's become a huge piece for us. Any learning loss or any accelerated learning that we want to focus in on. We also have those graduation requirements, which our 11th graders are going to inherit. So next year's seniors, you've got to have 25 credits when you graduate. So we've been adding to that, adding our teachers, gradually moving toward that as we're going through the process. But, it's still tough. So it's taken its toll. So this whole pie chart gives you a breakdown of basically where the expenditures are. So salaries and benefits, not surprisingly, take over most of that at 71%. And then you have the other breakdowns. You have other professional services or purchase professional services. So anything like your legal or your purchase professional services, your SPED, your SLPs, your OP, you should have given me the evil eye, Gary. I know, I saw it coming, the eyebrow. Speech and language, occupational therapy, all of those services. We have those professionals, but sometimes we need extra. And so it's important to make sure that we have those contracted services. Other purchase services tend to be like our legal. Purchase property services. Lynn has talked to you and John talked to you about needing a truck, right? That would fall into that category. Our supplies, and those are our basic instructional supplies that we have. Books and any type of instructional supply that we have, even if it's digital, right? And then property is bookshelves, art carts, tables, those kinds of things that you can touch and feel. Dues and fees and miscellaneous tend to be organizations for our students and our staff. Okay. I promise we will discuss this ad nauseum. If you're new to this process, you know how this goes. Many, many meetings in March, right? Twice a week, at least. So then when you look at this slide, this is important because we're looking at contractual obligations in terms of the percentage of the budget. And I'm always struck by the fact that this is 93, 94% year after year after year, because you've got the salaries and benefits at 71%. You've got tuition at 14%, transportation at 7%, and energy at 2%. So really, those are the things we have to do that you take right off the top. So really, then you're just left with about 6% of other, okay? And we'll talk about other in just a minute. The contractual obligations, I think it's important to look at that and just have a sense of where the increases are. And I think the salaries are in line because a lot of, I know many of you are on negotiating teams, and so that 2% or that 2.25 increase, and then any other salaries that have gone up because of step increases or longevity increases, those kinds of things, you can see where that's at that 2.63. So that makes a lot of sense. And then benefits increase. The tuition is down, right? Laura just talked about that in terms of special ed. That's really wonderful. Our numbers are down, and I'll give you those in just a second. KERMA, our workers' comp, is up. Student transportation is up. Transportation as a whole is going to be up. Obviously, you know from your own life and your own budget, energy and utilities are up.
Is that transportation based on the price we have right now, or is that an estimate?
That's an estimate, and those prices are likely to go up. And if you think about it, just in terms of the demand and bus drivers and that whole cost, that's, yeah.
No, so we're actually only receiving it tonight,
Oh,
and then it's
okay.
gonna get moved to budget, and then we'll discuss it at budget.
This issue.
Just for her to give the overview so that you can all go home and look at it before we meet again at budget.
Yeah, and then
I didn't
just
know that.
make a list of your questions and we promise to answer them.
Yeah.
So then our key increases are repairs and maintenance, and you've heard John and Lynn talk about repairs and maintenance that they've had to do on a regular basis. Things that are not capital, but just like we were talking about the heaters and boilers at different schools and what's had to get fixed. professional services that we've needed. A lot of that has revolved around mental health, behavioral services that we've had this year, but we will also be continuing and expanding next year. Licensing and warranty. Now, a lot of what we do is digital, and what we're servicing our students with is digital. It's one-to-one devices. We have a lot of software. So those, we have some increases there. And then just replacement equipment. A lot of, and this falls under repairs and maintenance as well. Our buildings are getting older, and just that routine, basic maintenance. And just the costs, if you're doing any work in your homes, just the materials costs has definitely gone up. So the general budget district-wide, and this is what's included in general budget, which will be different from, or may even overlap in terms of what's funded by grant. What we're very, very fortunate because we have Alliance grants and we have our ESSER, ARPA, and all those other wonderful things. But right now, when we're looking at general budget, what is the general budget paying for? So general budget is paying for our academic and intervention support. The board in its wisdom said, you know what, we're going to make sure that those intervention positions, even if it's only half, are in general budget as well as in grants. And actually, in some places, we have a little bit more in general budget. So we're trying to make that transition because we want them to become permanent and a part of our offerings for our students to have that targeted instruction. So professional services, a lot of our professional services funding is behavioral support, making sure that we have behavioral interns, making sure that we have the registered behavior techs. So we have those supports built in. And I think that that's really started to make a huge difference. And we're getting better and better at addressing our behavioral needs. Now, we've also had these other layers of mental health needs and issues. And our community partners have really been wonderful. But we've also been able to make sure that we have extra social workers in different schools. So that those mental health supports have been beneficial. We'll continue those next year as well. Supports key programs such as the development of pathway courses. What we're seeing is more students staying with us, less students wanting to go over to Oliver Wilcott, less students wanting to go to Magnet. As you heard Laura say earlier, less students wanting to leave and go school choice with Magnets and thinking about staying because we're offering a lot and we're offering enough services in terms of special ed as well. This year, middle school and Brian and his team were able to offer alternate ed in 7th and 8th grade, which we think was very, very helpful. We're going to expand that and extend it to the high school. So we want to be able to do that. And that is within our general budget. Communications and technology, I was talking a little bit about that before, making sure that we have the licensing, the software. Allie's always talking about the updates of her connectivity and her wiring and everything that our needs are in terms of the upgrades there. And then just the basic repairs and maintenance, which we think is so important based on the age of our buildings. That's just a reality. So in terms of what positions are we asking for in this budget? So we need another English teacher at the high school. We are going from 948 in October, a student enrollment of 948 to 1,071 next year. So it is jumping. And so we want to make sure that we have that support. We also want an art tech teacher, which will help us really expand that technology piece in an artistic, creative manner. We are also proposing a floating custodian who can go from building to building and is just willing to be a full-time person with benefits. We talked about that before and how important having custodial substitutes. We want to be able to maintain our buildings at a really high level, and we want to establish that for all our buildings, but also as we go through the transition, to our new middle school, high school. So I think it's important to make sure that we have that level of expectation as we move forward. I'm also proposing a school resource officer for the middle school. I think that would be beneficial. Dave Cooper has been really wonderful. He's our SRO at the high school. He has a great relationship with our students. And it's more of, you know, a really another guide, another mentor for our students. He's just a great person and he's a great mentor for our kids. And then our 6 English learner teachers last year or this current year, they are in our city ARPA, and we appreciate that the city took this on, but we knew that we were going to need to move that back to our general budget. So we have that, all of those 6 positions in the budget, in our general budget, because we do feel like that is really, really important. I know that Joanna's worked really hard with her team, and she's just getting started at getting that up and running and working, and really getting our students moving in the right direction. So I feel that's very, very important. So any anticipated staff savings or reductions, we're really looking at our retirement savings in 2 different areas. Our teachers who are retiring or have now are going to resign at the end of the year because they're moving, or they are going to be going on to different districts, what have you. So we do have 8 teachers who are retiring, 4 who are resigning, and some of those are support staff. So we do have some savings there. We do a calculation based on you took it away, Cooper. Thank you, sir. See, we were paying attention. So we will have a savings there based on our new hires. And then just because of the reduced enrollment at the middle school, and you'll see that in just a minute, it's going down significantly. So we can have a reduction of 1 ELA teacher at the middle school, and then Forbes can have a 4th grade reduced enrollment just because of the numbers in that grade level. And then these are the grant funding community partnerships that I was talking about district-wide. We are so very fortunate in our community because we have folks who really support so many things that we do. We have Charlotte Hungerford, and we have Community Health and Wellness, and both of those have been wonderful in terms of their outreach for us for mental health supports and emotional and behavioral and even staff supports. So they've been really great with all of that. We also have fabulous partnerships with Northwest Community College where we have dual credit, both because of our whole career pathways plan. Lisa Venati, and who is the chair or the president of Torrington Savings Bank, and John Campabianco, who runs the community programs for Charlotte Hungerford, have reached out to me and Sue, and we are going to be meeting with high school teams to talk about developing more pathways in the areas of finance and health respectively. So it's very exciting. And we've always been a part of the Manufacturing Coalition, and Kathy Awad from Northwest Regional Investment Board. So they've been very, very helpful. They've offered internships, apprenticeships, all kinds of great things. Ed Advanced, their after school programs, CAP 21, the Teen Center. We have CAFTA, who is also doing CHOW, which is an Italian program. And then we are also funded through Alliance ESSER ARPA, LEAP, entitlements, which are in Title I, Title II, bilingual. So we're very, very lucky. And in terms of all of those programs and supports, they provide what you see there listed. So it's very, very exciting what we're able to offer to our students. And accomplishments. You've heard Sue talk about the LEAP Home Visiting Program. That's been recognized by the state. Sue, Donna, and Claudia went and presented statewide, and we will continue that program. Paula Gajewski has really done a lot of outreach. At Kids Play, that's also where we do a lot of registration. We also do registration at the teen center. So we have community partners right there at helping with the outreach to our families. We have community members here this evening who participated and helped us with that whole teen center initiative. I spoke about Laura's special identification numbers. She's brought that down. When she first got here, it was at 22%. Now it's at 14.9. That is awesome and amazing. And just having our English language learners support staff, that's a huge, huge help. And I know that it's helping our students move forward in those areas. And to have our accelerated learning focus, targeting instruction, our art program, our WIN program at the elementary, our recent college acceptances, you can look through those. That's also part of our accomplishments. And then who are we, just so quickly,
Can I just say
because,
one thing?
sure,
I'm not gonna ask a question. But
sure,
you brought up the teen center. and
Yes.
Your staff did a great job, worked hard, and Judy's here.
Yes. and that's what
Yeah, I just wanted them to recognize you. I
she
don't know what's
acknowledged
worse,
me.
but She's
Yeah.
never been recognized.
Yes, awesome job. No, that was worth stopping for. Thank you. So who are we, and what do we really look like in 22, 23, really 21, 22, 23? So our student enrollment as of right now is 3,831 for this year. And then you can see what the breakdown is. So you can see our demographics changing. So we are 50% white or Caucasian, and then our next largest population is Hispanic Latino at 36.2, and you can read so on down the line. So we want to make sure that we're being respectful of all the members of our community, that we are representing all of our students and our families. So just a good reminder as we move forward. This I know you've seen before, and essentially what has happened over the years is we've done a flip-flop in terms of our free and reduced and our non-free and reduced. And you can see on the right-hand side that basically at this point, we've got 56 free and reduced because that number includes free and reduced. If you just had the free numbers, because we're a CEP district, it's really our whole entire district. So, but this qualifies us to have the eligibility of all of our students being free and the benefits of having the food available to them, which I think is so important and has been so important during COVID. So currently for our English learners, we are at almost 12%. So that's gone up significantly over the years, and you can see the numbers of students at each one of our schools and how important our staffing is to make sure that we are meeting their needs. Remembering that some students are coming without any English whatsoever at all, and then trying to acclimate, trying to make friends, trying to figure out this crazy world that they're kind of dropped into. Some students may come when they're older, but they may not necessarily have had a formal education. They may have had breaks or laps or gaps in terms of what their education has been. So there's a lot of service needs for our students. And some come and it's just a transition and it's not a big deal.
And that number is.
Wow. Okay. And so these are the numbers. Thank you.
Like as of almost today. Yeah.
So, yes, so that's why we also put plus the new. So it's going up as we speak. So thank you, Joanne, for that slide. So special education, as I said before, special education students, we have 737, and that's as of October 1. And then it's probably gone down since then, but we use those percentages. So the special education percentage of the budget is at 17.2, but that's a reduction of 1.8. So you can start to see that the investment that the board made in really having those positions has paid off. So, we're always looking at return on investment. So it's very very important. And I think that more importantly, our students are getting the services that they need and they're not over-identified. So that's very, very helpful with that as well. So 14.9% of our student population is designated special ed, and the state average is 15.9. So we are, that's amazing, because we are below the state average, which is woohoo, long time coming. So they've done a wonderful job. And just quickly through some of these slides, I know you've got to digest it a little bit more, but I just want to tell you what you're looking at. So the blue line is the regular ed, the orange line is the special ed. So these are the number of students who are involved in school choice magnet schools. So they're choosing to go to a magnet school, okay? And the next line is the school choice magnet cost. This is just the base cost, okay? And that number that you see at the very bottom where it says actual in the orange is what we've expended so far year to date. We don't know if we're going to reach that budget of 626. So right now, that's where we're at, okay? And then same thing for the next slide. When you look at school choice, the magnet school, this is just for special ed. And so we don't know if we'll expend up to the 750. Right now, we've expended up to 605. And then the BOAG, the student tuition, this is once again, this is school choice for the agricultural schools. We're basically looking at region 6, I'm sorry, we're looking at Womogo and region 7. So those are the numbers of students participating in those programs. And then the base cost of the students. So at this point, actual is 805. We have budgeted 867. So we'll keep you posted on that in Lynn's updates monthly. And then when you look at the next one, you can see that the special ed costs for BOAG, we've already exceeded there. The budget was 150 and we've exceeded it at 175. So remember that when students go and they have outplacement, those outplacements, whether it's BOAG or anywhere else, they're the ones who set up the fees for paraprofessionals or the speech therapist or the occupational therapist. We don't get to choose what those costs are. They set those rates. And so sometimes we underestimate what the students may or may not have needed. So sometimes we go over, especially in special ed. Although Laura's has done, and her department have done a great job trying to keep those costs lower. Then you have the special education outplacement trends, and this is PPT costs, the private, public combined. So they go through the PPT process, then they're outplaced. And right now we've budgeted the 8 million, and so far we've spent the 7.2 million. We'll keep you posted. These are the enrollment projections. You can see what the average class size was this year on the left, and then you can see the projected enrollment on the right. It doesn't have the specific breakdown of the individual schools. We can share that a little bit later, give you a little more specificity and greater detail, especially since we have a reduction at Forbes. I'm sure that that's going to be requested, so we can get that to you. But we wanted to give you the overview for this evening. And then school enrollment projections for secondary. You can see where there's that big jump in terms of the high school, in particular, the change going from 8th grade to 9th grade. That may be even larger if students do not go on to Oliver Wolcott or those BOAG schools. So we're monitoring that super closely right now. Students have applied, but may not have necessarily have been accepted, or students may decide to just stay at Torrington High School, which has happened frequently over the last few years. Almost there, you guys. And so additions and savings or reductions, you can just, this is just a summary page of all the things that you've seen before. Just a reminder, the additions total 666,000, and then the savings and reductions, the 522. So then the budgetary summary, so what's the magic number for this year, which we know is probably gonna change at least 50 times from now? Right now, what I'm proposing is the $79,095,589. Okay, so the difference is $2,162,691. And then the percentage of the increase is the 2.81. And then you can post this on your refrigerator. All the wonderful meetings in March, so that you don't forget any of them.
We're meeting at 5 on the night. I think the March 9th time is 5 o'clock, right?
I thought that was for facilities and technology first.
I think that's what's happening. So facilities and
Facilities
tech
is
are
at
meeting.
5.
At 5, yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because we did check that one, but I do think facilities and tech is at 5, and then budget subcommittee meetings at 6.
And maybe I should have thought about this, when we discussed this with the mayor, I apologize. Would there be any wisdom to moving the budget meetings from Mitchell Avenue to a larger venue?
Well, the public forums are at a large event.
Right, I know, but if we have people that attend, I don't know, just throwing it out there.
I mean, one of the reasons we don't have all the meetings here is because they have to transport all the equipment with all the Zoom options. You know, without Zoom, we can just kind of go on the road, but with it, they have to actually put in all of our locations. I'm just not sure, because we don't tend to get a lot of people at the budget meetings.
Mhm.
It's up to you guys, but the budget committee can decide at their first meeting
Yeah.
what they want to do.
I think we should do the one, if it's Matt's house, we should move it.
Okay. Okay, financial, like, I actually think that everybody was at the budget committee meeting, but then not.
No, that's fine.
Did anyone have any other questions they want to ask them about monthly financials? Rather than have the same presentation that we did it. I want to entertain a motion to bundle the 2 executive sessions into 1 executive session. So, so entertain a motion to go into executive session regarding the appointment of Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, appointment of Assistant Superintendent of Academic Support and Intervention, inviting in Ms. Scholte and Ms. Lance.
Second.
All those in favor?
This is John and Kathy.
Yes.
There's gonna be more.
I think it's quick. I think. Probably. I just have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always like that. when you mention-
Oh. That is Rosie. Chicken. Yeah, we can figure it out. This is 2 minutes. I know. That's awesome.
I know.
Yes.
All right, here's the board's session at 8:15.
No problem.
Policy number 5006, student attendance, tuition, and chronic absenteeism. Anything that you want to do?
So there were a couple of questions when we discussed this at the policy committee. Remember, this was the one where we were building in or embedding the language around mental health and wellness days.
Yep.
Right? And there were some questions about, or there was a question about whether the 2 allowable mental health and wellness days were over and above the 9 excused absences. So the official answer is, are you ready? That these 2 mental health and wellness days must always be treated as excused absences regardless of the number of absences the student has accrued. Oh,
That's from legal.
okay.
One of the savings.
Oh, excuse, right,
Yeah.
right. So the answer is essentially yes, right? Okay. There was another question about the military,
Right, and whether they got an extra 10 days?
and they do,
They do,
they do.
right, that's what I thought, okay,
Yes.
good.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Children of active military service members receive an additional 10 days.
Okay,
Yes,
so they get technically 22 days. Could get 22
if
days.
they take their mental health and wellness.
Right,
day.
okay.
Yes, they could.
Thank you, Sue, for finding that out.
Okay, so I believe that was all that needed clarified, right?
So-
Go ahead.
On that, do we need to add the language on that on 55006? Granted an additional 10 days of excused absences
For the
for the
So-
military?
So I know that it was confusing to read,
Mhm.
but according to our attorneys, it does read to reflect that. But if you want to change the placement of the word additional, we can.
Where, I don't see additional in here anywhere.
I have to get there.
Page 3, well, now I'm on the old policy. My policy folder.
Right, it wasn't written by the. Yeah, it is there. It's halfway down the paragraph. It's,
Which page?
It's page 3 at the top, letter C. Shall be granted 10
Yeah.
days of excused absences in any school year, and in the discretion of the administration, additional excused absences. So it is there.
See, but I still read it, I hate to, I
know.
hate to dwell on this, but I still read it as at the
What do you want to
discretion,
say?
just that it have the word additional, the granted an additional 10 days. If it's redundant, it's redundant, but at least it's clear.
Where do you want the word additional, the second additional?
The first one should be up above where it's saying, starting with, read it, words shall be granted 10 days of excused absences, an additional 10 days.
Okay,
Shall be granted an additional 10 days of excused absences in
Any school year, and because then, is this saying at the discretion of administration, additional excused absences can be granted?
The reason it's saying at the discretion is, okay.
I just, these policies that we have to talk about and try to understand them is just,
Right,
right.
Just so that you're aware, though, the lawyers did write this paragraph, and we did
This
not
is-
compose this.
This is our policy, but they wrote the paragraph?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
How do you know which paragraphs they wrote and which ones we
Because
wrote?
we adopted their policy.
This is their entire policy.
Yes, yes.
I-
Okay, so hold on. So is there
No,
anything?
it's
immediate
not.
Why this needs to be?
There's two of
approved
them.
Now, is there something urgent or can this go back to policy?
Just the mental health.
It's the mental health.
Yes, that's
Right.
Yes, we can send the other part back. to policy.
All right, perfect. There were two different policies, though. There was our policy for this, and there's a shipment policy.
Okay, but let's bring it back. Let's send it back to policy.
Okay.
Because it's not ready, so we'll vote on the
Two mental
health,
health days.
So this
Okay.
is just adding the mental health. piece to our
adding the
existing
mental health, and then we'll push it back to policy to go back and look at those.
Right, because
two.
we're not changing that language right now around the military, we're just discussing. it.
Yep,
to
okay.
clarify.
Right. But we need the mental health days because we don't have them in there. We're supposed to. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Enrollment out of district policy. This one, again, there was one change we wanted to make, and then we were gonna send it back to policy to further look at that, but just to account for the change for the kids that were seniors in high school, whose parents moved during their senior year, to allow them the ability of the discretion of the superintendent to stay until the end of, until they graduate, provided they were on track to graduate, and that the superintendent would determine the other, factors, disciplinary and all that. And then we would bring this back at a future date, back to policy to look at some of the other items we talked about before. Any questions on this one? Committee assignments, things we've all been waiting for. We did add a couple of liaison assignments that we felt were necessary based on a lot of the discussions we've been having. So what we'll do is we'll pass it out, and then if people have questions about their assignments, they can reach out. But what I want to do is send school improvement possibly a list of like the liaison responsibilities, so everyone, because some other people have asked for school, exactly to define the school ones too. So everyone can just receive this and then reach out if you have concerns about your assignments. And then we'll talk further about the liaison assignments.
Need one more this way, please.
Or this way.
They don't have enough.
Oh, you don't have enough?
No, Kathy's still passing.
We're missing one.
Here, I can share with Jess.
You can share it.
Or-
Share with.
Oh,
We'll share. Fine.
Make sure all the board members know that. Okay.
Here's one more.
So people can just reach out, if you have concerns about your assignments or questions about your assignments. Everyone has one now.
Ed, do you have one?
We're sharing.
Oh, here, I'll pass it down. Another one. I'll email a copy to everyone also, or I'll have Marcy email a copy to everyone. And then, Marissa, if you can just also email that to Sue so that she can.
Yeah,
to
just
Lisa.
Yeah, this- I have a cup, but
All right, course proposals. Meteorology and oceanography. Right.
Discussed it.
No, go ahead.
No, just discussed it. School Improvement Committee, solidly academic subjects, which in the science department, each of them probably more physics and chemistry than anything else, or it's biology. Just plain a strong addition to our science curriculum. as no, we're going with pathways. This them? All right.
Will this require a prerequisite? I'm just curious. It sounds like a pretty interesting class.
Discussing the prerequisites. didn't we?
No, they're electives.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly upper class, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that.
Any questions on those? Committee reports, budget committee. We've heard enough about budget tonight. We'll have a lot of fun the next month in budget. Facilities and technology, Gary.
Okay. I just missed- Was the oceanography at the end, meteorology or?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Facility and technologies report.
Well, we're still working on security. We are still working to raise the money for the roof. It's about $5 million. I don't know if we have an answer as to how we're going to go with it. There was a meeting with the mayor and we were told she was at least interested in talking or open to the idea of using bonding money. We talked about issues relating to how we bid, and we'll discuss further how we resolve that. Windows, I think they were negotiating the contract. Construction. I don't know anything about the driveway. Have you heard anything from the city on the driveway?
We, Chief Baldwin sent in a letter, I sent in a letter, Jeremy's supposed to call me back tomorrow, so we should get an update.
It's relating to the discussion we had at town hall.
Correct.
Yeah, so we've all done the letters we have to do.
Oh.
Now we need them to send us a letter back, which we haven't got.
To confirm.
Just one more thing, John's supposed to meet with an engineer, traffic engineer, and he may have done it already, I didn't call, to look at the situation. Right up in Mullen, in down, which was the requirement of the city. When we go to planning and zoning.
School improvement.
Well, we just talked about the two courses that we approved last week. We also talked a little bit about business, how items on future agenda item will be dealt with. Talk a little bit more about that in this meeting, and exit interviews and maybe even retention interviews. And tonight we've been assigned for the upcoming meeting liaison assignments and possible tag extension. So, a lot going on. Distinguished alumnus coming up next. Yes, distinguished alumnus. It's been in the paper a couple of times. They've been good about that. And we will be getting those packets. The committee members will be getting those packets. I think last time we got them sealed envelopes. Discussed them anonymously.
You seen anything yet?
That might's not for March.
Right.
No, I'm just wondering.
Sue and I will be discussing the exact mechanics. I think we had the system last month, or last year, and probably do it again this coming month.
Yeah.
All right, but thank you all for reminding me of that. So yes, excitement coming up.
Policy.
Well, we're trying to go through the policy by sections, a little at a time, but things keep getting put in, so we'll be doing the gender and the masks coming up. I think that will, best we can.
Right, building committee's next meeting is March 3rd. I was discouraged to see the city council meeting last night and see that they were discussing moving the skate park to the front of our facility to where the sand volleyball court was previously, which was never part of the discussion. So that was a little bit of a blindside. Hoping that the city really reconsiders that for a lot of reasons. Just put the splash pad in. We have all these young kids walking by. Many places in town would possibly go. Besides, right in front of the new facility.
Playground.
So, more to come. Apparently they left it that it's going to Park and Rec. So hopefully people will get involved and speak up about that location. Are people opposed to emailing all of the individual liaison
Great idea.
reports, and then we can have Marissa attach them to
You're in
the
opposition.
minutes? And that way we can all read them, but then she can attach them to the minutes. Is
Great.
that okay?
Do it.
Great.
Marissa is good about reminding us.
Yes, she is. When she hasn't gotten it.
Entertain a motion to approve the monthly financials.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
John and Sue, thank you.
Entertain a motion to receive the superintendent's 2022, 2023 budget and forward to the budget committee.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Gary and Kathy,
yes.
thank you.
Entertain a motion to approve the assistant superintendent of student services, Laura Komolowski.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Laura, you want to say anything quick?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Years later. And entertain a motion to approve the assistant superintendent of academic support and intervention, Maureen Mazzano.
He's over there.
Sorry, over there, you.
Yay.
Second,
Wait, so moved.
So moved.
Second,
Sue and Kathy?
Yep.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
For the families and students.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen.
Entertain a motion to approve policy 5006 and 5007 as a bundle with the changes discussed.
So moved.
second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Gary and Kathy?
Entertain a motion to approve the meteorology course and the oceanography course as a bundle.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
John and Gary?
Sorry, major move action H, there actually isn't action. That was my fault, sorry. Entertain a motion to approve the Board of Ed regular meeting minutes of January 26th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
John and Gary?
Entertain a motion to receive the committee meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Gary and Sue?
Entertain a motion to receive the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
John?
Items for upcoming agenda and the monthly financials. Big one is going to be the 22-23 budget.
Survey feedback from professional development day.
I will continue to receive updates if necessary, if anything changes. What's it called? Comments for the good of the order. Kim?
Thank you for allowing me to present my HR report for the first time.
Your presentation was amazing. No, thank you also.
I want to thank Kim. I think she did a phenomenal job. Yay, glad that she got to be a part of the OTL, kind of SPED report, under superintendent report. And I want to thank Lynn. She survived her first budget experience in New World when she's used to Ivy. So it's like talking a different language. So thank you very much. Great.
Good.
I have nothing to say. Cool.
Laura, sorry. Laura, do you have anything?
Yeah, just thank you guys for having confidence in me. I really like working for this district. I'm serious.
Yeah, no, I think the recruitment video was excellent. So I'm really excited and hoping stay ahead of the curve filling positions is hard everywhere right now. So I think it should be a good help.
Great meeting. I do have, I'm not gonna do this right now, but I do have 9 different things that I highlighted to take away, so I won't discuss it, but maybe we can talk offline about where to place it. And then the one thing that I do want to capture, or I just identified, is the consent agenda and our numbers from September through today. In the future, and I don't know if that would fall in school improvement, maybe, John?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Just the
But why don't
totals.
we talk,
Huh?
You and me and Jack can talk
Okay.
online about that. I'm not sure what you mean.
I loved the video, it was wonderful. The budget was great as well. I think this was a nice meeting. And, you know, but I just have to wish Sue a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Well, yeah, mine's all over. Tonight's her foot away. You know she loves us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look great for 45.
You didn't see her
You
phone.
You have to go.
Next time I'll bring pizza.
Yeah.
This is the 2 on. Also, I just have a question to Kim. You hired an assistant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you ever met her? I might be wrong, but.
she came to one meeting, the meeting,
Oh,
that
I
I did the
just-
time and
oh, okay.
attendance, so she hasn't been here, but I'm certainly happy to have her come, but she was in the recruitment video, actually, so. So- No, she's great, thank you.
Just that we have 6 retirees, and I'm sure we'll get more, and I just think it'd be nice maybe at the end of the school year to have like some sort of recognition for our retirees. There's some names on here of people that have served us for a really, really long time. I do want, one of the previous meetings, the community was saying how they don't have the agendas, they're not posted. They are posted. Is there any way we could get something out to them to find out where they are? Like, go to the website.
You know what? I
do
had
this.
a hard time finding them. You have to go to the meeting minutes, and then at the very top
Right,
is the
so I'm saying,
2022
right, Can have like a
folder.
public service, a PSA go out to just to let them know where to go.
No, you have to go into.
Just to say that we were listening to them and we really want you to participate and this is how you get there.
But sure. Send it out as much as something.
Just to let me know where they can find the.
Maybe Alex
Send
said
it out
that.
there.
Yeah.
She says they're on.
Yeah, just have little bullet points, you know, where,
We can send out.
The minutes are?
I mean, and then we're.
Especially for the budget coming up. For that.
Right, yeah, right, and then the agenda items, so we know,
It's fine.
coming on.
Yep.
Or if it can be posted on the main page instead of. Not very, but where it is.
Posted on the main
I think
page.
it
The
is.
agendas are
Sarah
posted on
does
the
it.
main
Yeah.
page, right on the left.
Right,
On the
but
left. and you
sometimes
click the
it's
link.
hard for them to find it, so go to the main page, go to the left, you'll see it. Sometimes they need hand holding, just for the first little bit.
I think some of it is the agendas, those meetings don't show up there, I don't think until we post the agenda.
So
So
let
that
them
would
know
know
we
we
post
using
the
if you're
agenda,
looking
try
for
to
like, oh, we're going on next week or
Or
2
whatever.
weeks from now. It
Well, the
looks like
meetings
there's
are
nothing
out there. It's just the agenda gets posted when it's ready, but the meetings are out there.
Right, so just so they know that.
I thought they weren't.
On the actual.
As soon as we schedule a meeting, and it's a special meeting, we're
Yeah. So just so they know.
without the agenda.
Yeah.
We can send one out. Yep.
I'm looking at this date of future meetings, and we have one for Wednesday, March 7th, and that's a Monday. See, we have,
It's a budget.
right, the public forum,
yeah,
that
that's
says
Monday.
Wednesday, March
Monday,
7th,
yeah.
that should be Monday.
The date is correct.
The date's correct, but the dates.
So we can't have to send them the 19th Wednesday.
John?
Meetings are no longer than they had to be because we had a lot to do. They took a lot of time and I continue to be locked. Amount, quantity and quality of the work, everything that gets done and it's done. on time.
One thing I have is now that we're on the other side, I would like to again bring into the fold some high school reps, because we haven't really been able to have them. And I was thinking maybe because of the timing, we could do a freshman and a senior, just so that I'm sure we have something. So it's kind of a weird time, so I'm not sure if the seniors will even be able to do it because it's so late in the year, but.
We had some impressive sophomores here tonight.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Future meetings, so we're gonna change the March 7th is Monday, not Wednesday. The 14th.
So the 14th is
Oh,
also
yeah, so
Monday.
sorry, 14th is also Monday, sorry. That's fine. So March 7th and March 14th are Monday meetings, not Wednesday. And we also have. Motion to adjourn.
Move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hearing Ned.
Yes.
John. Slack there.
It was in my-
Yeah.